Yo, what up? It's Moses gang, and this video is called Magdaleno Toy Salazar Harpys 13 Gang Story. Now, this video is brought to you by Barrio Tales. Make sure you go on their channel, leave this video a like I'm about to do. Bam. And yeah, tell them Aaron Moses sent you. Let's get into it. Support their channel.
Welcome back for another video. Today's video will be about a man named Magdaleno Salazar. Magdaleno is from the West Side Harpys 13 gang in West Adams District of South Los Angeles.
Okay.
Magdaleno had previously been convicted of killing someone at age 17.
Damn. We only 30 seconds in, and he already killed somebody. Let's go.
That would not be his last time killing someone.
Oh my God.
Around 2:30 a.m. on July 25, 1993, Kathy Mendez and her friend, Cynthia Bonilla.
Not the Jack on the Box off of Adams in Vermont. Come on, man.
Were at a Jack in the Box restaurant. They met Magdaleno, whom Mendez knew as Toy, and Enrique Echeverria, whom she knew as Rascal. Mendez, Magdaleno, and Echeverria were all members of the Harpys gang. Magdaleno drove the four of them to another restaurant, the Yoshinoya Beef Bowl,
Right down the street by the 110.
at the corner of Figueroa and 30th Streets.
Okay, not that one. Okay.
The Beef Bowl was on the fringe of Harpys territory and was sometimes frequented by other gangs. Mendez, Salazar, and Echeverria were the only Harpys gang members present in the Beef Bowl. Salazar was wearing a white t-shirt and Echeverria a black one. Mendez heard the men say they needed to take care of the neighborhood and should not be caught slipping. This meant they intended to control the Beef Bowl as gang territory and not be caught unaware by rival gang members. Two people were approached in the Beef Bowl that night and hit up by gang members asking where they were from, a way of seeking their gang identification. Arnold Lamus said he was eating with two friends when some guys came over and they hit us up.
That looks delicious. Ugh.
The man doing the talking was wearing a white t-shirt. Lamus told him that he and his friends were a party crew, meaning a group that hung out together and went to parties. The man in the white t-shirt threw out the name Harpys, to which Lamus responded, "It was cool because I didn't have nothing against nobody like that." While Mendez waited in line of customers, Salazar and Echeverria left the restaurant and stood just outside. As the doors opened, Mendez heard Salazar tell Echeverria to get the cuete, a slang
Get the pipe, get the Glocky, get the Blicky.
term for a gun. Echeverria retrieved something from the car and put in his waistband. Mendez then saw a man walk past the Beef Bowl. He was shirtless, had a cast on his leg, and to Mendez, he looked like a gang member. Salazar and Echeverria confronted this man in front of the Beef Bowl.
That man was committed. He was committed and submitted to his gang. Bro, you don't got on a shirt and you got a cast on? How you gonna gang? If that's what you want to do.
Began wrestling with him. The front of the restaurant was glass from the floor to ceiling. Mendez heard gunshots and saw Salazar shooting in the direction of the cafe next door. She threw herself to the floor. There were a lot of shots, maybe 8 or 9.
Damn.
Salazar and two fellow Harpys were visiting friends when they saw a neighbor leaving the apartment building. Believing he might be a drug dealer who had money, they decided to rob him when he returned. The victim was shot and killed in the hallway.
Damn.
When the shooting stopped, Mendez went outside. Salazar...
That's what we call on the East Coast getting busy. Wow. 8 or 9 shots, and you robbed this man. Okay.
tapped carrying Echeverria to the car.
He was with him.
Drops of blood marked their path. Salazar was holding what looked like a 9mm pistol. He helped Echeverria into the car and drove away. Mendez went to the cafe next door, where the man with the cast on his leg was lying face down. There was a lot of blood. The victim was Enrique Guevara, his cousin.
You shot a man with a cast, bro. You didn't even have to do all of that, man.
Giovanni Guevara was with them on the night of the shooting, but had succumbed to the fatal disease by the time of trial. The party stipulated that Giovanni would have testified as follows. When he and his cousin went to the Beef Bowl, Enrique was not wearing a shirt and had a cast on his leg. Enrique parked the car in front of the other cafe. As Giovanni entered the Beeple, he saw two gangster-looking guys. Moments later, he heard gunshots, but did not see who was shooting. He was told his cousin had been shot to death. Sabino Nungare, a Harpys gang member, testified that around 3 in the morning in question, Salazar knocked on his door and told him that Echeverria had been shot. Nungare went with them to a hospital.
He said 30th.
As he helped Echeverria into the building, Salazar drove away. Echeverria testified in the Harpys' defense. He told the jury that he had shot and killed Guevara, had been convicted of the killing, and was currently in prison. He said he and Salazar were standing outside the...
See, that's one thing, bro. Now, I'm not from Los Angeles, unfortunately, right? But if you get charged with a crime when you were a minor, they're not able to see that, right? If they charge you as an adult, which they probably did, because I'm guessing this dude ended up doing juvenile life, they don't know what you had going on, which is going to give them more ammunition. If he didn't get charged as an adult, which he didn't, because he only did well, I don't even know how that works, because I just don't. Yeah, don't talk about your juvenile criminal history. Now, because he had a violent case, there was probably a way for them to go ahead and dig up his past. So, for an example, let's say if you get charged with arson, if you get charged with burning down a house at the age of 25, if you burn down a house at the age of 14, right, and you got charged as a minor, there's a possibility that they can go ahead and open that up. If somebody said, oh, he got charged with burning down the house, you know he went to juvenile for 6 months for burning down the house when he was 14. If enough people say that, yeah, they could go ahead and look into that. Let's say that you ended up getting manslaughter for that and arson, which would be, which I don't know, let's say 10 years. Bro, if they find out that you burned down a house at 14, now you're a habitual offender. And instead of 10 years, they'll give you 25 to life. Just because somebody ended up, you know what I'm saying? So don't talk about, that's the whole thing with these Vlad TV interviews and these no jumper interviews. You talked about your criminal history as a child because you want to look so damn gangster. Bro, but when they come back at you and they say, oh no, he had a little bit of this. No, he been had a little bit of that. Ever since he was, shh. Don't talk about it. If you're really like that, we could smell it. I believe you. I'm impressed. But if you keep on trying to convince me, the more people try to convince you, the more they're lying. Hold on, damn bit. Hold on, bro. Hello? Hey, baby. Peace. The more people try to convince you a lot of times, on God, on the gang, on BD, on GD, on Bloods, on Cuz, on the Hood, on Hoover, on my 1-3 dog, they just might be lying. On my baby, on my mama, on God, on my soul, on G-O-D, on the guys, on gang, on phone them, on Vice Lord, on foe. They might just be lying. On BPSN, they might just be lying.
People, when a car drove by, the occupants were staring them down. They looked like gangbangers. Echeverria went to his car, retrieved his gun, cocked it, and placed it in his waistband. The other car parked, and the passenger went inside the beat boat. Salazar followed him inside. The driver emerged shirtless and appeared to be under the influence.
Oh,
he produced a 25 caliber automatic and said something to Echeverria, including the word Drese, which Echeverria took as gang reference.
Yeah.
Then the man began shooting. Echeverria said he was shot 3 times. As he reached for his gun, his assailant came closer and shot him 3 more times. Echeverria grappled with the man and fired all 14 rounds.
Bro, you got shot. Who is this? You got shot 6 times and you still wanted to fight? Can we be friends? You need to work security for me. I know I'm only at 9,130 something subscribers, but I'm gonna get there one day. I need you to be my security, my man.
This clip as the two wrestled. Echeverria fell on top of his attacker. Salazar appeared and helped him to the car. Echeverria had dropped his gun, which Salazar retrieved. Salazar drove Nungare's house, then to the hospital. Although Magdaleno Salazar was viewed as aiding and abetting, it didn't change the fact that Magdaleno Salazar was convicted of the shooting and killing a suspected gang rival, which was the first-degree murder of Enrique Guevara. Due to already being previously convicted of murder, this only made it worse for Salazar, as Magdaleno Salazar was sentenced to the death penalty.
Bogus. That's messed up. Well, free the homie. I don't know him personally, but it is what it is. That's so sad. That's so sad. This man didn't even get to. So he got banged up in 93 and then got banged up again in 2010. Well, at least that sucks. But see, y'all gotta stop talking all gangster. You know I've been. No, I don't want to know that. I didn't need to know that. Keep it off the internet. Stop talking. But we're gonna go ahead and do this a little bit later. Maria Chata Leon, Queen of Drew Street Avenues gang, because it sound like that gang was affiliated with this situation. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. It is what it is. It's not what it's not. It's Aaron Moses on the band. You the band with the band. You got the man lives in the brother than MPs.